we're moving into our last unit here, which is angles. Angles, to me, they have elements of geometry and they also have elements of measurement. So I kind of just put angles off as their own unit because it does combine, geometry and measurement together. So today's lesson, first we're going to actually talk about how angles are fractional pieces of a circle. So probably a pretty new concept for most of you. So for starters, let's talk about, circles and what we know about them. So we know that they have no sides, right? That they have a center point. And we also know that, let's say I were to start here, and if I were to go all the way around the circle, it doesn't have to be perfect. If I were to go all the way around the circle, okay, we know that that would be 360 degrees. Okay, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier when we talked about angles in geometry, how, a circle is 360 degrees. And so an interesting fact is that all angles fit inside of this 360 degree range. So whenever we have any angle, it's really, if you took a circle and if you created two rays, so remember a ray has an endpoint and an arrow at the other end. So if I took any, two rays, they represent a piece of a circle. So this piece here is the angle, and it's a part of this entire 360 degrees. And so, and that is the same for any angle. And so let's actually look at some other circles, and we're going to see which fraction of a circle these angles measure. And they're going to look pretty familiar. And we're going to see the connection between the 360 degrees and the measurement of these angles. And it's pretty cool. And it's part of one of the reasons why I really like math, because it actually makes sense. The numbers add up. So here I have a circle that has two rays that form an angle. And if we look at it, you might think it looks familiar, as it should. I'm going to draw my little box here. So we can tell that this is a right angle, okay, because it makes a nice little square in the corner there when I draw my box. And if you remember, okay, a right angle measures how much? Right, it measures 90 degrees. All right, so we know that this piece of this circle, or we actually we'll call this part of the circle, this is the arc of the angle, arc. It's not a real important word to learn this year, but you will definitely be seeing it in the future. So this is the arc, and this is also the measurement of the angle. And all it does is it represents the piece of the circle that the angle measures. And so now let's talk a little bit more about these numbers though. And so I'm actually going to draw some more. These are some imaginary lines to kind of help us visualize this a little bit better. So I'm going to go down here. And so now I kind of see, a line going across the circle and a line going down, okay? And I'm just going to shade in this section here a little bit, just to help you visualize it even more. So if I had, this was a piece, this was a piece, this was a piece, and this was a piece, how much of the circle does my 90 degree angle make up? Right, it is 1/4, okay? It's 1/4 of the circle. So we can say that, a right angle is equal to 90 degrees, and that is equal to 1/4, okay, of a circle. And like I said before, the really cool thing about it, to me at least, is the math. So if I know that this is 1/4 of the circle, then that would mean that if I had 4 90 degree angles, it should equal 360. So let's see. So if I had 90 degrees 4 times, right, representing each of these pieces here. 4 times 0 is 0, and 4 times 9 is 36. So it does, in fact, equal 360 degrees. And the opposite can be said as well. If I had 360 degrees, and if I divide it by 4, then I would get 90. Okay, so the numbers just add up, right? 90 degrees is a fourth of a circle. If I had 4 90-degree angles, I would have a complete circle. And so we're going to look at another, so like I said before, these should look familiar. Here I have a ray going this way and a ray going this way. And so my angle is from here to here. And so you can remember we call this a straight angle. Yes, it looks like a line. It is technically also a line, but we call this a straight angle when we're talking about angles. And let's see if you can remember what a straight angle measures. Right, it's 180 degrees. All right, so let's see how this, fits in with our circle pieces. So I'm going to shade in this top section here, very, very sloppily, but just so that you can kind of get the picture. So if I shade in the portion that is my, straight angle, how much of the circle's been shaded in? Right, it's 1/2. So we know that a straight angle is equal to 180 degrees, which in turn is equal to half of a circle. Awesome. Okay, and again, the numbers work. If I took 100, sorry, not 100, well, I could do it that way. If I had 180, and if I were to multiply it by 2, 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. Ooh, that 0 is a little wonky. Boop. And 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So again, it all adds up. If I had 2 straight angles that equal 180 degrees each, I would have a full circle of 360 degrees. And you can see that because on the underside here, let me actually change my marker to a different color. So I actually have a straight angle under here too, don't I? And so that's another 180 degrees. And if I add this straight angle and this straight angle, I would have the entire circle. So like I said, very cool, very, you can actually see it. You can see the angles inside of the circles. So we've seen the 1/4, we've seen the 1/2. We know that if we go all the way around the circle, that's going to be 360 degrees. And then there is one more type that you might see. And so this is not a specific kind of angle that we learned about, but it's still a fractional piece of a circle. So my arrow here is going this way. So that's saying, that I'm starting from this ray and I'm going all the way over to this ray. So you're probably thinking, oh, well, this makes a right angle here, if I could draw the box straight. And you're right. This is a right angle. So let's think about it though, but this isn't the angle we're thinking about. We're thinking about the big pieces over here. So I'm going to again, I'm going to shade in this region. And we can use a lot of different, approaches here to figure this out. So if we want to think about in terms of fractions, I could, split this circle up like I did the first, or I guess technically that was the second circle. I could split this one up again. Ooh, a little bit straighter lines here. And again, I see I have my fourths. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths. And if I'm looking at the shaded portion, I have 1, 2, 3 fourths. Okay. And so if we remember the fourths, okay, and we actually can see that here, right? So we've got a 90-degree right angle here. but I want to know how much is in all this area here. And I can do that pretty easy. If I know that this is 90 degrees, then I know that each of these other fourth pieces are also 90 degrees. And so if I have 3 of them, I could just multiply that by 3, right? Or you can add 93 times, but you know, we're getting ready for 5th grade, so we're going to multiply. So 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 9 is 27. So this green shaded portion here is equal to 270 degrees. And so what that, you know, all that really is that's just 3/4 of a circle. It is an obtuse angle because it's a lot bigger than 90 degrees. And some people, you know, they prefer to just, you know, subtract the smaller angle because it is such a big angle. But you can do it that way. So we've looked at, you know, the different sizes and the different portions, the different fractional pieces that the angles that we've already learned, you know, straight angles and right angles, how they can, you know, make up pieces of a circle. And so today your activity is going to be on IXL. It's in the Z section. Z is the angle section, and it's new, so it doesn't have a number assigned to it, but it is called, you know, circles. I think it's circles as or angles as fractions of circles. So it'll have a star next to it, you know, so you know that that's the one that's been assigned. And so it'll just give you a little bit more practice of recognizing the fractional pieces that angles make up in a circle. So that's it for today, and we will work on measuring angles next time. So take care. Bye.